Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Miss Anna. Thank you for the opportunity to present my research today. My name is Oktiani Wahyu Ramadhani, and I am a student of the Education Policy Study Program at Yogyakarta State University. The title of my research is Science Teachers Integration of Digital Resources in Education, a survey in rural areas of one Indonesian province. Let me begin by providing some background. In the era of digital transformation, technology is becoming more essential in the field of education. However, rural schools in developing countries like Indonesia still face many challenges, such as a lack of infrastructure, limited access to training, and low teacher motivation to use digital tools. Although the government has promoted digital education through various policies, the implementation in rural areas is still far from ideal. This shows a gap between policy and actual practice in the field. From this background, several research problems emerged. First, there's a still limited understanding of what influenced rural science teacher intention and action in using digital tool. The second, we need to explore whether demographic factors such as gender, teaching experience, or skill level influence digital resource use. And third, we need to understand why some variable like self-efficacy or supporting condition and do not show significant influence in practice. The next is the main purpose of this study is to explain the predictor of digital research integration by rural science teacher in Indonesia, focusing on how attitude subjective norms and other psychological and contextual variable influence in teacher intention and action. This study also evaluates demographic difference in actual digital integration. There is a three research question in this study. The first is what factors significantly predict Indonesian rural science teacher intention to integrate digital research into teaching. The second is how do demographic factors, gender, teaching experience, school level influence the actual use of digital research. The third is why do some variable like self-efficacy and facilitating condition show no significant effect on actual integration behavior. The next is background information. Why is it important for us to discuss this issue? Because equitable access to quality education requires that teachers across all regions, including rural areas, are empowered and support to integrate digital tools into their pedagogy. Why is need for us to raise this issue? The national policies often overlook rural teachers' unique needs. Address this challenge can guide better research, allocation, and teacher support system. The next is under what context is this issue discussed or debated? This issue is discussed in the context of digital transformation in developing countries where rural schools often lack in adopting educational technology due to limitation in infrastructure and teacher red lines. Is there any gap or controversies controversy between individuals, groups, or communities in this field and beyond? Yes, while it is widely believed that self-efficacy and technical condition are the most important factors, this study found that attitude and subjective norm or social pressure are a stronger predictor, while self-efficacy shows no significant effect on intention to use. In this study, I take the position that infrastructure alone is not enough. To successful promote digital integration in rural education, stakeholders must go beyond providing infrastructure. The study argues for a behavioral and social approach, emphasizing the importance of teacher attitude and peer support over individual confidence or resource availability alone. The finding of this research suggests several implications. Teacher training should focus on building a positive attitude toward digital tools. School leaders should create a collaboration environment to encourage peer learning and support. Policymakers should avoid one size fits all approaches and design strategies that reflect the real condition of rural teachers. And finally, collaboration with the private sector is needed to support infrastructure through corporate social responsibility programs. And this is the bibliography. Uh, that is all I can share from my research. Thank you for Miss Anna attention, and I hope this presentation was clear and meaningful. Thank you, Miss Anna. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.